Hey, folks, welcome to Thursday night. Welcome to Thursday Night Stock Charts Live. This is Bob Desmond over the Contrarian Trader, and looking forward to Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody! Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year. So I didn't send out a 15-minute alert to my email list, so we may be a little bit light in viewers for the first couple of minutes. They'll get an alert to their inbox by YouTube. That takes a minute or so. So my apologies in advance to those catching this on the replay for not getting that email out. So what we're going to talk about tonight are the weekly charts. This is the purpose of Thursday Night Stock Charts Live, is to go over the weekly charts, a snapshot in time. We're going to take a look and see how we're closing out the week. How might we want to position ourselves moving into the next trading week? Also, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, and I put in the subject line of this video, Thursday Night Stock Charts Live, Bitcoin 2020. I didn't put a question mark after it because I truly believe that in 2020 we're going to see a revival of Bitcoin. And I'll go over some reasons why, some correlations that are out there that I think are interesting, so much so it caused me to re-enter our Bitcoin trade. We traded it earlier in the year. We entered right before the big breakout with a 3,000 handle. We sold it just below 9,000, around there. And we were in it twice, and both times we made money. So a nice trade, and we're looking to rebuild that position. I don't think I'm ever going to get overweight of a cryptocurrency. I just don't think that we know. Hey, TJ. I just don't know enough about cryptos in terms of who's going to be the winner. Maybe it's Bitcoin. Maybe it's not. What will the government do with cryptocurrencies? Hey, Patrick. Okay. All right, Patrick, you got it. All right, so Patrick is one of our valued members, and he is requesting that I do gold first along with nat gas, and let's do it. So crypto looking good for 2020. We're going to go over the correlations, but first, by popular demand per Patrick, we are going to go over gold and nat gas. So let's get to it. We'll exit here, and we'll go to gold. All right, so again, for those just joining, the purpose of this video is to go over the weekly snapshot. How are we closing out the week, or how are we poised to, with one trading day left to go, to close out the week? Do we want to add to positions? Do we want to close positions? Do we want to add stocks to our watch list? A lot can happen in one trading day, so don't put an exaggerated amount of emphasis on tonight's commentary, but it's a good starter. And beginning with gold here, what I like and what I'll be looking for, Patrick, specifically on gold, because I'm going to go over the negatives first, and then I'm going to go over the positives. So gold, on the negative side, is potentially in a bear flag setup, meaning we bottomed out, reversed, and now we are limping up and possibly trying to recapture support levels here. And I use possibly because the week is not over yet. Now, thus far this week, we have managed to defend support, which we actually recaptured last week. And this week we were doing a retest. So at current, gold is looking very, very good as we proceed into the close of the week. Now, if we close down below, let's call it 1480 the ounce. That's a concern. That's a major concern. If we break down below that level, that puts into shot the lower band of this potential bear flag setup. So that's the negative aspect. I don't want to see a breakdown below 1480, and I don't want to see us break this lower band of support in dotted blue line. Volume so far this week is very, very light. Drilling down to a daily chart. Now gold managed to break out back here on November the 29th out of this W formation. On the 2nd of December, we did a pullback and a retest of this blue line, this breakout point. Rallied, pulled back, and again, we have recaptured the 1480 level, and we're consolidating very, very nicely here. So we are long of the gold miners, which correlates very, very well with gold. And we will be looking to add more to that position once we begin to see a breakout on not just gold, but on the miners, of course, as well. We have a price target in on where we trade the NUGT, where we would look to add more. And we have broken out today on RSI. So we were in a, I don't want to call this a cup with handle formation. It's really not per se, but for the lack of a better word or term, cup with handle formation. Normally you get a downward sloping handle on a cup. You don't have that here. So we have a quasi cup with handle formation and a breakout above the upper band of resistance, which is very, very bullish for gold. Volume, though, is very light. Now, it's not a shocker, right? No, Patrick, you're right. It's not acting like it wants to go down. And here's the upshot. Here's the positive, right? We're seasonality at current for the month of December, gold trades up 60% of the time. So not a huge percentage of time that it trades up, but January, for the past 6 years, it has closed up 100% of the time. So what I think that we're dealing with, and dealing with very, very well, is that we remain in a risk-on environment, meaning people want to buy stocks, especially this time of year, because it's a no-brainer. The computers are in charge, light volume, bias to the upside. You're crazy for shorting the market right now. Wait until after the new year, unless, of course, we see a break in the market beforehand. So what gold is doing, because generally gold is fighting the S&P 500 because money flows are going to go either into a safe haven, gold, the dollar. Well, it's not actually fair. The correlation between the dollar and gold is rarely correlated. It's usually inversely correlated. However, when you have geopolitical risk, they are correlated. So back to money flows. Either you have money flowing into the stock market, or you have money flowing into gold and things that drop on your foot and it hurts. Those are commodities. And we're going to talk about commodities a lot tonight. So it's holding up very well in a risk-on environment. In a risk-off environment, gold is going to take off. And what is also quite favorable for gold is this. We'll come back to the yield curve. I want to go to the 10-year yield. That's yearly. Let's go to a weekly view. Now, you're seeing the 10-year yield break out to very close to a 1.95 handle, and it's a new weekly high, yet gold is pressing higher on the week. That's good stuff. Generally, they trade inversely of one another, yet gold is holding up. And I think, Patrick, you put it very, very well. It's acting well. Now, the dollar is also adding to the fact that Gold is behaving well because generally you get an inverse correlation between gold and the US dollar. What's gold doing? It's trading up along with the dollar. So gold is holding in there very well. I'm very bullish on gold. Long story short, very bullish on gold. Hey, Kurt. How you doing? All right. So what else do we have here? Nat gas. Patrick, you like the UGAZ. I'll go over the UGAZ. Is that cool with you? UGAZ? Or did you mean Nova Gold? Did you want Nova Gold or NG? Nova Gold is looking really good here. Yeah. Usually you have gold that breaks out first, and then you see a catch up by silver, and generally silver will outperform gold ultimately. But yeah, I'm bullish on both. We're long of the gold miners and long of silver. Very happy with it. Okay, so you want UGAZ. Gotcha. Later, Patrick. Be well. Have fun tonight. All right. So for Patrick, he loves trading this. I do too, but I personally don't like it right now. Let's go to my annotated view. We'll go with a weekly view. I mean, there's not much to say here except there's nothing going on. We are putting in lower highs and lower lows. You know, the best I could say about this week is that we didn't put in a new weekly low, and that's not much. There's not much to talk about here. I'm bearish on UGAZ. I just don't like it. I think today it had a fairly good day, if memory serves me. I looked at it earlier, and today was the Nat Gas inventories report. Yeah, it did. So let's update this. All right, so interesting here with UGAZ. And I will illustrate in a second once I throw my annotations up here. All right. Hey, Kevin. All right. UGAZ daily chart. We bottomed out here on the 9th, rallied up to 9.28, pulled back. We managed to break out here on the 16th. We've pulled back. We've retested the breakout point. So it looks as though we may pop up higher here as a swing trade. Good volume today. As a swing trade, not an investment. This is not an investment at current. RSI is putting in higher lows. Volume, very good. And members, we'll be meeting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight to go over your symbols. So get them ready. So UGAZ daily basis looking bullish. I think we'll probably pop up higher here. Longer term, it's not ready to be purchased as an investment. The trend is still to the downside. Let's talk about Bitcoin. And I want to do a deep dive into a correlation with you see developing with Bitcoin and what may cause it to act as a store of value. And I know many out there. I'm a big fan of Peter Schiff. Uh, I'm a huge fan of Peter Schiff. Where we tend to disagree on a couple of areas, his macroeconomic opinion is very, very solid. I mean, rock solid. Sometimes his technical analysis a little bit iffy, a little bit too quick to the draw on shorting. And with regard to Bitcoin, I think that he's discounting the acceptance of Bitcoin into society, cryptocurrency adoption by the millennials and the current generation, whatever the Generation Z, whatever they're called. And I think that Bitcoin is going to have a place in the future. And we've seen a nice pullback here. And I think that we've bottomed out. I think we bottomed out this week. So the question then becomes, what would cause Bitcoin to rally? And for all transparency, we bought Bitcoin this past Saturday. And the reason why I did so was because I saw a nice correlation that I want to share with you right now. And what we're correlating against at current is Bitcoin versus the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, seasonally adjusted. And it's overlaid here in dotted gray, the CPI. And over here, I have a correlation chart. And you'll look over here, Bitcoin versus USD. And you can see that anytime they trade above 100 or 0, the neutral level, that's a correlation. So when they trade below, they're not correlated. So the vast amount of time, the CPI and Bitcoin are positively correlated. Not negatively correlated, but positively correlated. And you may be asking, what happened back here for them to go negative? And I think what it was that you began to see a bottoming out of the 10-year yield. This is what I came up with. It's all thesis at this point in time and not really that much related to the trade itself. But it's indisputable that there is a distinct correlation between inflation and the CPI. And when you take a look at Bitcoin relative to, this is a monthly chart, relative to the Prings Inflation Index, that's a basket of miners. It's a measure of mining stocks that do well when inflation begins to pick up. Because when inflation picks up, people demand hard goods. They want gold. They want silver. They want things that when you drop it on your foot, it hurts, as Dennis Gartman would say. So the Prings Inflation Index, you can see the correlation up here, trading above the 0 level, therefore trading pretty much correlated, with the exception of a few months back here in 2016. Other than that, they're directly correlated. So you have the CPI, you have the Prings Inflation Index telling you that if we see a rally and a pickup on inflation, in all probability, you're going to see a rally in Bitcoin. And you could see here, I overlaid the Prings Inflation Index in brown line. And what we stopped doing in May was that we stopped going down. And then what we did is we had the audacity not only to stop going down, but to put in a higher low, and then we broke out. So the trend on the Prings Inflation Index has gone from whatever they want to call it deflation, no such thing, at current. It is now trending up higher. So the Prings Inflation Index is now breaking out. What are you seeing here on Bitcoin? Monthly basis. You're seeing bottoming action. You saw it in November. You're seeing it again this month. Despite the fact we put in a new monthly low, where have we seen the support level before? Back here. This is huge, huge support from being resistance back here in October 17, to being support first time in November, then throughout 2018, then we broke. Here we are back above, consolidating yet again. Kurt, problem is the real inflation is much higher than the official published state number. No doubt about it. Agreed. I don't argue that point. But what can't be argued is the fact is that the Pringles Inflation Index is breaking out. CPI, if you take a look at a chart of CPI, it's really interesting. And there are people out there that'll be deniers and say, you know what, there's no inflation per se. And that's ridiculous. And I'll prove it in a moment. So here, we're going to put the CPI up. Yearly basis. Does this look like we are lacking inflation? We have plenty of inflation. These are the government numbers. And Kurt's right. Inflation is higher. And we're breaking out. We're moving up a lot higher here. We've had 2 down years within the first decade of it being measured. Ever since then, we've only shown 1 down year. That was 2008, the financial crisis, of inflation. Ever since, it's been off to the races. 1 down year since 1955. And we have the Federal Reserve saying there is no inflation. Incredible. How are the markets telling us that we have inflation? Look no further than the TIPS, Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. Why do people buy the TIPS? They buy them to protect their portfolios against inflation. Now, why is this arrow up here? What we're doing at current is we are breaking out of a wedge formation in 2019 where the Federal Reserve has just claimed we only have, using the PCE, that's their favorite measure of inflation, the PCE, all in is 1.6%. We are breaking out on the TIPS. Who buys the TIPS? Not mom and pop. These are institutions that are buying the TIPS. So the smart money, quote unquote, smart money is out there. They are buying up the TIPS and they are breaking out. We hit multi-year high. We hit all-time highs in August of 2019. There's no inflation according to the Federal Reserve, or it's muted. It's below their target. Let's take a look at home heating oil. We were talking about this morning on Swing Trading Today. I went through a bunch of commodities. Here we go. Let's go with a monthly chart. Home heating oil is breaking out of a triangle formation. Should we close out the month where we close out the day or higher? Home heating oil is going a lot higher. Now, we can go down this path over and over again. You can go to my video from this morning. I'll link to it at the back of this one for the replay, so I'm not repetitive. But it's clear that we have inflation. Energy prices are picking up. So let's not let's not drink the Kool-Aid that's being fed to us by the government. Let's take a look at some other charts here as we close out the week. The VIX, despite the fact that we have an up week, the VIX was higher earlier in the week. And we broke out on the VIX. I think we're going to get a sell-off after the first of the year. We broke out on the VIX back here the week of December the 2nd. We are now pulling back to do a retest of the breakout point. I was very tempted earlier in the week, yesterday in particular, to go shorting this market, in particular the Russell 2000. And we're not ready yet. We're not going to fight the Santa Claus rally. Seasonality is against us. We'll wait till the first of the year. The Dow Transports weekly basis, flirting with a breakout. But when you take a look at it on a daily basis, not much happening here. So really no major traction being gained. I wouldn't buy the transports. Louisiana Pacific rallied today. I did see that. They broke out. So the railroads may be breaking out here. That would be a good indicator of the fact that we may get a breakout in the transports. But we'll see. We'll see how we close out the week. RSI looking very good. Consolidating. Volume. It's probably going to roll in on par with last week. Stokes are flattening out. So I wouldn't rule the transports out from breaking out here. Daily basis, though, I do not like them. Dow Jones, weekly basis, higher highs on very light volume. This is what you're going to see. Between now and the beginning of 2020, you're going to see these volume bars diminish. It's going to be algorithmic trading, computers holding this market in check with a bias to the upside. The IWM, same deal here. Flirting with critical resistance levels, but we're trying to break out on diminishing up volume, and they'll probably break it out on diminishing up volume. The question is, can it stay there? The S&P 500, I don't like this chart. Let's drill down here, 5-year view. New weekly high. We're probably going higher here on the S&P 500. I'm not ready to short. You can have all your reasons in the world aligned for as to why you want to short the market. But until the market tells you, hey, listen, you got to short the market, I'm telling you, because I just broke support, you can't do it. XLF, the banks, filled candlesticks so far this week. You don't really want to see that at the highs of a trading range, at all-time highs. You may get a pullback here. I wouldn't short them, though. Emerging markets, outstanding performance this week. They're overbought. They're probably going to get more overbought. Good close to the week is expected. Energy. All right, so energy we were talking about back here. When we saw this higher low in a W formation form, we broke out, pulled back, retested the breakout point on RSI. We're breaking out higher. This week, Stokes validating, confirming the move higher. We broke out on price this week above this new resistance level. We're seeing a little bit of topping action here. That's a bit of a concern. We may get a pullback and a retest of this breakout point, much as what happened back here when we broke out the week of November the 4th, pulled back, did a retest, then we consolidated, broke out, good stuff. Volume is not looking good sequentially. Yeah, I remember that, Kurt. Market broke down. RL, Bitcoin prediction eventually 250,000. CNBC source. Unnamed source, huh? I hope so. I don't know how they get those predictions, to be honest with you, but I hope they're right. All right, oil, weekly basis, new weekly high. A lot of resistance up here, a ton of resistance up here. Volume is very, very light. Beware. Because as goes oil, so goes energy, the energy sector. So be careful. I don't like the volume. Gold we already went over. This is Nugget. We're long of it. I'll talk about that with members on the Inner Circle session. Silver, no breakout yet. A good week so far. A new weekly high. I don't want to add more to our silver position until we get a pullback or a breakout. One of the two. Right now we're in no man's land on a weekly basis. Consumer discretionaries. We booked profits this week on Want, leveraged ETF. I may come to regret this because it looks like it wants to go higher. So we'll look at re-entering Want on a new weekly high. McAfee? He's out of his mind. $1 million at the end of the year. This is. Be careful with what you post in the box, Kurt. Your comment just got banned by. It's not banned. It's hidden by YouTube. I'll read it off here for Kurt. I won't approve it. I'm going to keep it hidden. McAfee said Bitcoin 1 million at the end of the year, or he would eat his own male appendage. Is that good? So thanks for that, Kurt. Mila, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. That was funny, Kurt. Okay. So consumer discretionary is looking pretty good here. Very, very tight Bollinger Bands. Let's bring up the XLY. See if it looks the same on the Bollingers. Pretty tight. Nice breakout here. And at this stage of the cycle, to have consumer discretionaries breaking out, it's pretty bullish stuff. Biotechs. Weekly view. We're at resistance. I'm not interested in biotechs right now. We booked profits on LABU a short time ago. We'll look to get back in. Today was a good day for LABU, if memory serves. Yeah, bullish key reversal day. So we'll probably attack resistance yet again, but not enough reward to accept the risk. So I would avoid right now, me personally. And I'll probably come to regret that, but I'd rather worry about safety rather than rolling the dice. Yang, we're looking to enter Yang here. I think we have a little bit more downside room to go. Down to a 30 handle. What do we close out the day? 41.14. Let's go to a daily chart really quick. Yeah, we'll probably go down lower here. Yang puts you short of China, if I didn't already say that. And BRZU, I've been looking for an entry point. And it's not going to be this week because we rallied right up and into resistance this week and we're being rejected. So I'm preferring to buy stocks that, or international funds that are country specific or ex-China. I don't want to own any mainland Chinese stocks. I would rather just buy BRZU, their commodity play. I would rather buy Vietnam. They're a beneficiary of factories moving out of China, going elsewhere. So those are the emerging markets that we're looking at. I'm going to be putting together the 2020 year ahead forecast. I'm going to send that out. And as you might imagine, I think that Bitcoin is going to have a recovery year in 2020. It's going to be an interesting video. So if you want that video, please subscribe to the channel. Click the bell button and you'll get notified of when I put out a new video or when I go live. And as a matter of fact, I forgot to do it tonight. So my apologies for those that are already signed up. There's a link below that says VIP linked. Just click on that. And I send out a 15-minute alert before I go live. And if you want that, please enter your email address. We hate spam too. You'll not be spammed because YouTube only alerts you when I go live. So you miss the first 5-10 minutes, whenever you see that video. So that is it for this evening, folks. Thanks for joining in. For those, if I don't speak with you before Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. Members, I'm going to send out a link in a couple of minutes. We're going to start Members Group Inner Circle, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for joining in. Members, get your symbols ready. We'll talk in the circle. Be well.